Hello and welcome back to the Cracking FAANG YouTube channel. Today we're going to be solving Leetcode problem 362, Design Hit Counter. At the time of recording this, which is October 2022, this is actually Apple's #1 asked interview question, so definitely one to know if you have an upcoming on-site with Apple. Alright, let's read the question prompt. Design a hit counter which counts the number of hits received in the past 5 minutes, i.e. the last 300 seconds. Your system should accept a timestamp parameter in seconds granularity, and you may assume that calls are being made to the system in chronological order, i.e. the timestamp will be monotonically increasing, though several hits may arrive roughly at the same time. What we want to do is implement the hit counter class, and initializing it will just create an object of the hit counter system. We'll also have a method which takes in an integer timestamp called hit, which will record a hit that happened at that timestamp in seconds. And like it said before, several hits may happen at the same timestamp. We'll also have a getHits method, which is also going to take an integer timestamp, and this is going to return the number of hits in the past 5 minutes or 300 seconds from the timestamp. So now that we've read the question prompt, let's look at a simple example and see how this question works. Okay, we read the question prompt. Now let's look at an example. The first thing that you're going to be given is to initialize your hit counter object, and then you're going to be either given hits or get hits and the values you should take here. So let's see what we get. So we get a hit first, which occurs at timestamp 1, right? So we'll kind of have our hits. So there's one at timestamp 1, there's one at timestamp 2, and then the next thing, it gives us a timestamp 3, and then asks us to get the hits at timestamp 4. So it basically wants us to get the last 300 seconds, the count of the hits, right? So obviously at timestamp 4, there's only a time between 0 and 4, so we'll just get that, right? We can't go into negative time. So all of the hits that happened at this time is going to be 3, right? So we return 3 here, and then let's see. Okay, so then we go and we have a new hit, and this one occurs at time 300. So now we have a time 300 here, and now we're asked to get the hits at, time 300. So we basically want to get everything between 0 and time 300, right? So obviously there's 4 hits here, so we would return 4, right? Now what we want to do is we want to get all the hits from 301, right? So we basically want to do the last 300 seconds. So this would be 1 to 301. So in that time, we had, 300, we had 3, and we had 2, and we don't count the endpoint here. So because of this, what we want to do is we want to return 3 here, right? We cannot count the last second here because that it's from the start here, so this is not inclusive to this final endpoint. So the amount of hits we have is going to be 3 here. So that is how this basic example looks like. Now let's actually think about how we might want to solve this problem, because it seems quite simple when we look at it, and there's actually a few ways to do it. So let's kind of erase all of this here and think about how we're going to solve it. Okay, so the easiest way to solve this problem is actually to use a deck here. And what we're going to do is we are basically going to, put each hit into our deck here. And you'll see why we want to use a deck and not a normal list in a second, right? So let's say we have some hits like 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, 75, blah, 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 right? So we're asked to find the hit count, right? So what we can do is we can figure out, okay, what is the hit count here? We can say, what's the timestamp that we're given? And we know that we need from that timestamp minus 300, right? And since these numbers represent the time that that hit happened, basically we can parse through our deck and basically find the point that's the first point that's within this range, right? Because say we got, something like 380, right? That would mean that we want to get everything from basically the last 300 seconds. So we'd want to go from 80 to basically 380, right? So that means that all of these values here are not within the range. So what we want to do is we don't really want to count them, right? We basically just want to move forward and basically just remove them from the queue, which is what we're going to do. And since we have a deck, we can actually pop from the front in constant time. And the reason we can do this and, not worry about deleting these is because it's a hit counter, and it told us that the hits are going to be coming in monotonic, right? We can't have 75 and then also be given 63. It always has to be increasing. Therefore, once we know that old entries are too old, we can actually just get rid of them from the deck. And once we hit the point where we're finally in range, then obviously we stop popping things because it's still in range, and we can simply just return the length of our queue here, and that will give us the number of hits, right? Pretty straightforward, right? So whenever we need to add something to the queue, we just insert it to the end of our deck, which is a big O of 1 operation. And then to actually figure out the size is going to be big O of n, because we have to remove elements. And in the worst case, we'd have to remove every single element that's in the deck. So that's why it's a big O of n. But can we actually optimize this? Because while it works, there is actually some optimizations we can do here. So let's now think about how we can optimize this, and I'll give you 2 solutions, and we'll code up the more efficient one, but you should still know them in case your interviewer wants to see the other one. So I told you that there are 2 optimizations we can make here, and I will tell you them in order. So let's do the first one, which, let's think back to our original example where we had multiple hits coming in at once, right? So we had like 1 1 1, then maybe like 2 2 3, 3 4 4, right? So the problem here is that we basically have to store every one of these hits, but we don't actually need to do that for ones that are exactly the same, right? We can actually simplify this and use a tuple here, where the first element will actually be the time. So in this one, it's going to be 1, and the number of hits, 3, right? And then we could store this as 2 2, and then, it'd be 2 3. Sorry, this would be 3 and a count. Oh, let me just erase that. That's horrendous. We've got 3 2 here, and then we've got 4 and 2, right? So we can condense it here. And the way that we can do this is every time we get a hit, we're going to check, does it equal to the last element we added to our deck here? If it does, then we can simply increment the count. If it doesn't, then it's a fresh one, and we can just add it as a new tuple here. So that way we can actually just keep track of, the previous value. If it turns out we're actually getting multiple at a single time, as the problem told us, then we can essentially store it this way, and we can condense our, our storage here down. Now, in terms of time and space complexity, to actually add something to this deck is still going to be big O of 1, right? We're just appending to the end here, so that's fine. In the worst case, we're still going to be popping elements, and we could potentially end up popping the entire queue here. So because of that, it's still going to be big O of n on the time for the actual hit part, and also for the space complexity, it's still going to be big O of n. But we do make that slight optimization where we're not storing repeat elements that come in at the same time multiple times. We're just storing it once and keeping a track of the count. So it is slightly more efficient there on the space, but in terms of the time, you're not really making any improvements, but your interviewer might want to see that you can actually implement this. The second thing to realize that we can optimize here is that obviously time is monotonic, right? It increases one way, which means that all of our timestamps are going to be increasing. So we'd have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on for infinity, right? And because it's increasing, that means that these values are sorted. And what we can do with this sorted list is actually apply a binary search. So we know that we want to find the number of hits at a timestamp, and it's always for the last 300 seconds, right? So essentially, what we're looking to do is just split our array such that, the left pointer of our binary search ends at the last element that is within our range, and the right pointer will also be that last element, but on the right side. So it would basically be from timestamp minus 300 to timestamp, right? So ideally, we have the right be as big as possible that still fit in this time frame, and the left be as small as possible but still fit in this time frame. And because the list is sorted, we can actually do this in log n time. So what we're going to do in this case, so to insert our values, it's still going to be big O of 1 when we get a hit, but when we're actually asked to find the number of hits, we can actually do this in log n time. So we actually can improve our time here. For the space, we're still going to be storing the elements, so it's going to be big O of n. And it's important to realize that because we're returning the difference between the indexes here to basically get the number of counts between them, we're going to be using the difference between the right and the left. We cannot actually use this tuple approach here because we actually need all of the elements in there to actually get our bounds right. Otherwise, if we started popping things, then our deck would actually be smaller than it should be. So we need to actually keep all of the elements. We can't actually do this little space optimization, but you know, this is something that you can actually bring up to your interviewer. You can say, well, I can reduce the time complexity here, but the space complexity won't be as efficient, or I can go with the more optimal space approach and, you know, go with it. So this is, you know, a good example for you to show that you're actually thinking about more than just the problem. You're thinking about, okay, is our system you know, memory constrained? Are we working with, you know, time constraints in terms of like efficiency? Which one do we want to implement? And this is going to give your interviewer a very good signal that you're not just, you know, some coding robot. You memorize the solution. You can actually think about things bigger than the problem. And this, you know, after that, the interviewer will tell you, okay, I want you to do the binary search one, or I want you to do the efficient memory one. At that point, it doesn't really matter. They just want to see that you're actually thinking about these things. Anyway, now let's go to the code editor and actually type up the binary search solution. It's relatively simple. It's going to follow the very familiar binary search template. Anyway, that's enough blabbing. Let's go to the editor. Okay, so we're in the code editor. Let's type up the binary search solution. So the first thing that we need to do is actually define our init function here, where we're just going to define our data structure to actually store the hits. So we'll say self.hits, and it's just going to be an empty list. Remember, with the binary search solution, we're not actually able to remove items from this hits like we could with the queue solution, because we actually need those indexes and we want the indexes to grow as the hits grow. So we're actually going to, because we're using the difference between the right and the left index to determine how many elements are actually in there, we need all of them. If we start popping them, obviously the indexes are going to decrease, and that's going to skew our result and not going to be correct. So what we want to do is we simply want to, you know, define our hits. Now for the hit function, all we need to do is say self.hits.append the timestamp. Easy enough. Now for the get hits function, this is where we want to actually do the binary search. So the left boundary is going to be 0. The right boundary is going to be obviously the length of timestamp self.hits, sorry, self.hits -1. And what we want to do is we basically want to know the target, right? So the target is going to be the smallest possible timestamp that's still within our range. Remember, the range is timestamp -300 to, you know, whatever the timestamp is, because we want the last 5 minutes, right? So our target, basically the smallest possible value we can include in our range, needs to be the timestamp -300. Now we're simply going to move our boundaries until our indexes respect that range. So basically the left pointer should be as small as possible, but still within the time frame, and our right pointer should be as large as possible, but still within the time frame. So we're going to say while left less than or equal to right. We need to calculate our midpoint, which is going to be left plus right, integer divide by 2. And now we're going to say if self.hits of mid is actually less than or equal to the target. Obviously those values are not going to be within the range, so we need to move our left pointer up to start capturing all the elements to the left of the mid. So we're going to say left equals mid +1. And now what we want to do is the other condition, basically if our mid is actually too big, then we want to say right equals mid -1 to move that right pointer down. So this binary search will run until basically, you know, this condition is broken, at which point all we need to do is simply return the length of self.hits minus the right pointer. So that will basically give us, oh, sorry, not the right pointer, the left pointer. So basically the left pointer will move to basically where the, you know, appropriate endpoint is, and we just need to basically extract all of those elements that are to the left of left, which is what we're doing here. So if we just, where's my submit button? Let's run this, make sure I didn't make any stupid syntax bugs, and we should be able to submit this. And cool, it's accepted. So yeah, okay, just want to make sure because this new UI trips me up. So what is the time and space complexity? Well, we kind of went over this before, but let's do it again. So for the hit function, it's going to be big O of 1. Obviously, we're just appending to the end of a list. Therefore, that's just big O of 1, right? For the actual get hits, obviously, we are doing this with binary search, so it's going to be log n here because binary search is log n. So the get hits function will run in log n time. What about the space complexity? Well, obviously we're storing all of the elements here, so it's going to be big O of n. So basically, however many timestamps they throw at us is going to be however many items we have here. So that's essentially what we want to do. That is how you solve the problem. Like I said, there's two solutions. You can use the deck one, or you can use the binary search one, which is the more efficient in the time. So that's how you solve design hit counter. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of videos and I plan on making a whole lot more. If you could, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And otherwise, yeah, thank you so much for watching.